Hey everybody, welcome to Peegs.com. Matt Weaver, Jeff Rabjohn's with you. Here from Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan, where Curt Cignetti and the Indiana football team made history, going 9-0 for the first time ever. Dozens and dozens of seasons, decades of Indiana football, the first IU team to go 9-0. Matt, I guess let's start there. Your thoughts on this team making this kind of history?
Well, I mean, excuse me, it's mind-blowing. Like, I've been following this program for a really long time and never seen anything like it. And for me, it's not just the record, it's the domination. I mean, every game's been 2 touchdowns or more. Every victory's been 2 touchdowns or more. And obviously today got off to a pretty rocky start, and then they just blew their doors off. I mean, 47 unanswered points. Yeah. And then, once again, domination on both sides of the ball and even special teams. So it's hard to wrap your head around. I mean, for somebody like me who's been following this program as long as I have, it's so new, so uncharted territory. But it's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun to cover for us.
I was looking at it, and I think it's 46.6 points per game to like 13.7 points per game, the average margin of victory for a Big Ten team, and that's just really incredible. Like you said, they got down 10-0 today. They didn't blink. There was never any problems. Really, they just gave up a couple big plays, and then they made some adjustments. Curt Cignetti comes back. I thought, he played really well. Curtis Rourke. Curt Cignetti, Curtis Rourke. We'll get that right. It's been a long day. Continuing on, Curtis Rourke comes back. Didn't play with the glove. Had a wrap, and I think he said he had a splint on there. Your thoughts on just him coming back so quickly and how he played today?
Yeah, I think he actually sounded like he took a thumb of a glove and cut it out and kind of taped it on his finger so we could. That's what he told us in the post game. So he could have grip, because he said that there's still some swelling on the thumb, and obviously when you have swelling, you kind of lose your feel, your touch of something. So, obviously a little bit rusty to start, but obviously settled in. And they should have had, they had a couple 3 and outs to start, but one of those should have been a first down. Wasn't the best ball to Miles Cross, but should have been caught. But after that, he was, statistically, at least from a completion percentage, not going to be his most impressive game, but still, I think he had 4 touchdowns, I believe, and still was right around 60%. I mean, for a guy who's at 75, that seems like a bad day, but for most quarterbacks, that's pretty good. Pushing 250, 300 yards, I think. So obviously, I mean, he's just been masterful. His command, his ability on those RPOs to know when to put it in the running back's stomach or pull it out. And, when those throws out to the perimeter, that's like an extended running play. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's throwing the ball, but it's like an extended running play. And he is just so good at it. And then the perimeter blocking was terrific today. I mean, just like we said, he was great. Didn't run the ball like they normally do, but they still got 47 points. I mean, this train just keeps on going down the track.
Yeah, you mentioned the perimeter blocking. I think they're one of the best teams in the country at perimeter blocking. There were several plays where quick throws, like you were talking about, and as the ball's getting thrown, you see 2 receivers turn from acting like they're running around to both hands on the DB or the safety, just completely blocking, and they turn 4 yards into 8, 10, 12 with regularity. They're really, really good at that. It was fun talking to Aiden Fisher after the game. All these guys they're repeating what Cignetti says. We play one game at a time. We're not focused on the end result. And obviously, when you get to 9-0, they're following what the coach's mantra is. But I did ask him, I said, okay, what's it like around Bloomington now? And he said, now it's like you go to the gas station, people are like, hey, good game, Aiden. Good luck, Aiden. And I'm like, I didn't know we were on a first-name basis, but thanks. So they're getting recognized all around town. The players talked about how there's just incredible buzz in Bloomington, which is obvious. There's incredible buzz on campus. There's incredible buzz nationally for this team. I mean, we're sitting here going into the second week of November, and there is national discourse on where Indiana falls in the college football playoff. Just how crazy is that's where this team is?
It is crazy, but they've earned it. I mean, they've absolutely earned it. And I could be wrong, but I think isn't the first playoff rankings?
Yeah,
and
it's coming.
Talking with some other media guys down there while we were waiting for players, we think they're going to be top 8. I mean, and I don't know how you're not. I mean, people talk about the schedule they want. They are blowing people out. This is just curb stomping everybody.
Right.
So it's it's crazy. I mean, I know in 20 was a weird season. I bring that up. It was COVID. It was weird. There was a little bit of whispers because going to that Ohio State game, if they could have won that. But obviously, this is totally different. I mean,
Right.
you feel like even if they have a slip up, which right now, you wonder. I know Ohio State's still coming up in Columbus, but even if they have a slip up, they're still going to be really in the conversation because of the way they played. If they go 11-1, so it's crazy. I always said expecting national championships in Indiana in football is unrealistic. Well, I'm eating crow here. The pie's on my face because they've got a legit shot to go play for one.
They do. They really do. And I was talking to a couple of friends who have AP poll votes for football this past week, and both guys said, if you take the name of the team off, ignore the jersey, ignore the history, ignore preconceived notions, and just look at, I guess, what you'd call blind resume, this team versus these other 3 or 4 teams. Both of them said you can make a case for Indiana being a top 5 team in the country if they win today. And not only did they win today, they won in dominant fashion today. A couple other things to talk about this game today. Another impressive performance by Coach Haynes, Coach Kuntz, and that defense. Give up 10 points early, and then the rest of the game, 0. And I think at one point in time, Michigan State had 10 possessions. None went for more than 30 yards.
Yeah, and I mean, I think at one point their rushing yardage, because 15 tackles for loss. That's like 3 games worth of
Right.
tackles for loss. What can you say about McCall Kamara? I mean, the guy's unbelievable. He has been a stud week in and week out. They just dominated. They completely, and the other thing, I know they're not trying to hurt anybody, but this team tackles, when they're tackling, they tackle with bad intentions. I mean, they were knocking dudes out. I mean, I think Aiden Childs is going to be an ice bath for a little while because he got the what knocked out of him. So it's just an impressive performance. The defense settled in after rocky start, and then and that's what this team does. They complement each other. If one's getting off to a little bit of a slow start or whatever, they don't panic. That one pulls a little bit more extra weight until the other one can catch up, and then they're off. And then special teams. I mean, D'Angelo Pons was Defensive Player of the Week, and this is a guy who could be fat and sassy, and he's out there blocking punts, making plays on special teams. And it's not just him. They have a number of starters who play on special teams, like a lot of teams do, and those guys play it like I asked Coach. They play it like it's their last play. I mean, they treat it like it's just as important as any other play in the game, and it shows. And what a performance! It just this team's been so much fun. Great coaching, great players, great character across the board.
Yeah, Pons 2 interceptions last week. Farrell 2 interceptions this week, and 2 really key ones. Michigan State was kind of sort of getting a little bit going, and he shuts down 2 drives. Aiden Fisher was really good, had the tip pass on interception. Like you said, Mikhail Kamara, his tackles for loss in today's game, I think it was 4.5. I think he was credited for 2.5 sacks, 2 other tackles for loss. If a team has 4.5, they didn't do too bad. He's got 4 points. He is a wrecking ball. He is just absolutely a wrecking ball that goes through people. It's really everything about him is very, very impressive.
And real quick, I interviewed the Selfless guy. He said, listen, if the other 3 guys on the defensive line don't stay in their lanes and do their job, he said, I can't make those plays. He said, these are team stats. And, that's just the kind of players they have on this team. He could sit there and say, oh, yeah, I'm great. No, he's like, no, those guys make me look good.
Right. And that's obviously a part of it for most good teams, and certainly for Kurt Cignetti's first team here at Indiana. Again, Indiana 9-0, first time in program history. For Matt Weaver, I'm Jeff Rabjohns. More coming this week on Peegs.com.